Well, queues have taken over filling stations in different parts of the country as Nigerians struggle to refill their vehicles amid rising pump prices. Since the removal of the fuel subsidy in May last year by the Tinubu administration, Nigerians have been witnessing continuous instability in the price of petrol. While the citizens are reeling from the harsh economic effects orchestrated by the removal of the fuel subsidy, the International Monetary Fund IMF insists that the Nigerian government is still paying massively to subsidize the premium motor spirit. At this trying time, a liter of petrol sells above 700 naira in some filling stations within Abuja, while black market vendors sell it at 1,000 naira per liter. If the petrol is scarce in major cities like Abuja and Lagos, then how do you cope with the situation in your area in case you are watching us live from Borno, Ogun, Sokoto, or Enugu states? Well, you'll be given a chance to connect with us through a dedicated telephone number on this episode of Daily Politics on Trust TV. Hello and welcome to this program. I am Hamza Idris. Thank you for being with us. To dissect Nigeria's unending fuel scarcity amidst price hike, we invited a public affairs commentator, Murkhar Suleiman. Thank you very much for making it to our studio.
Always a pleasure to be here, actually.
Yes, I don't know how you managed to come.
Yeah, it's a very long story.
Good, but before the conversation commences, we have some tidbits for you. The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, has accused the new Nigeria People's Party-led government in Kano State of staging protests against him in Abuja. There have been series of protests calling for the removal of Ganduje as the national chairman of the APC, with groups and party chieftains from the North Central leading the charge. Ganduje, in a statement on Friday by his special assistant, Comrade Apoku Ogenyi, alleged that the Kano State government has been hiring protesters from the streets, mostly Kwamkwasiya members, some of whom are from the North Central geopolitical zone, to demand Ganduje's resignation. But the state government has denied any involvement in the crisis. And elsewhere, the American International School in Abuja has written the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission seeking bank details to refund fees paid for the children of Yahaya Bello, the immediate past governor of Kogi State. In a letter addressed to the Lagos Zonal Commander of the EFCC, the school said the sum of $845,852 had been paid in tuition by Yahaya Bello since the 7th of September 2021 to date. It could be recalled that the EFCC boss, Ola Olukayode, said the embattled ex-governor withdrew $720,000 from the state's accounts to pay his child's school fees in advance just before he left office on January 27, 2024. And of course, Murkhar, just before we came to the studio, while I was in the newsroom, we received a statement from the Yahaya Bello campaign organization saying all what EFCC is talking about before the courts. They cited some dates that the case is already in court, is sub judice, and all that. That is just a mere witch hunt. By the way, what is your take on this back and forth between EFCC and Yahaya Bello?
It's quite difficult to actually decide who is on the right side of the law and who is on the wrong side. Of course, it's apparent that something fishy is going on, and as he has said, the sub judice is still in the courts, and that matter is being debated. But I also think, listening to the full speech given by Ola Olukoyede some days ago, where he actually disclosed that Yahaya Bello had withdrew $720,000 to pay school fees ahead of time, you could tell that he has tried to sort of done his best to see how he could either law or invite officially the past governor for him to come answer questions regarding the allegations,
80 billion and all that.
Because for him to have subverted the law the way he did, using the immunity status of the current sitting governor to dally his way through EFCC barricading at his house, it reeks of guilt. So I think if the governor thinks he's not very guilty, he should subject himself to the system, because there's only how far or how long he can continue these theatrics. So I'm sure that the EFCC have not decided they want to throw their full weight. They are still trying really hard to be as civil. Is that thing about you do everything possible to avoid a crisis, so when a crisis comes, you know that you can say, we've tried, we've called him, we've written to him, we've pleaded with him, and he has refused, and this is why we are using the enforcement.
And some are wondering why he didn't deploy the Fayoshe formula. You know, Fayoshe, he did some crested vest.
I remember,
when you know the FCC kept ringing the bell that we are waiting for him. He said, "Okay, I will meet you." And he did, and up to now he is not really in prison. The case is there.
It's a thing of just subjecting yourself to the rigors of the system. If you know you have nothing to hide, just come answer the questions that you have, even if you're put on detention. People like Yahaya Bello, for example, will not be placed on in Kirikili or in Kuje. Of course, it's going to be embarrassing to start with, but then again, isn't that the whole reason for a democracy, that everybody can be answerable to everything that they do, especially when they're in public office? So it's my state, it's where I'm from, and it's quite appalling to see that a past governor who was somewhat a face for the youth, even if it's for a very short period of time, is
8 years is not really short.
No, what I mean, he was a face for the youth for a short period of time, because he lost that credence from the youth. The youth stopped giving him trust and everything when he sort of showed that he could be a bully of some sort. So I think he needs to rework his strategy more effectively.
Right,
he needs to actually go and see the EFCC and answer the questions that they have for him, because I know Lukoyede said he told him that he should send these people to come to his village and come and meet him there.
They should go. Okay, then what about the Ganduje for the first time? I think, yeah, of course, people around about a statement which he sanctioned, saying Kano State government behind the clamor for his removal as national chairman of the party. But I read it somewhere that the presidency is also... It's
difficult, though. That's the thing. You know, I don't think it benefits the NNPP in any way if he remains or leaves the...
Are you sure? But you know he has the enormous powers as national chairman of the ruling party.
Of course he does have, but I don't think it benefits the NNPP. That's what I'm saying. Because the NNPP has proven that they run Kanu. I mean, they won the last election by a landslide and also won in courts as well. So I think they've proven that they hold that mandate. So except it's just for personal vendetta, just a way of stripping a man of every last shred of dignity that he has. But then again, on the flip side, again, it still comes back to what is happening with Yahaya Bello as well. It's still that thing about, if you know you have nothing to hide, subject yourself to the system and let the will of the law take its course.
Because Kanu also want him to face the law over alleged infractions.
Yes, and for some of those infractions, of course, you cannot argue your emotions in court. You cannot argue speculations in courts as well. But for some of them, we know that they happened. We saw some of them happen. But let's see how the courts decides. Let's see what can be argued. Let's see what can be proven, and then we'll keep an eye on it.
All right, thank you very much, Murkhar, for your take on the piece. Now let's have a glimpse of what Nigerians are going through as a result of the fuel scarcity, which is our major subject of discourse today.
For almost a week now, most of the filling stations have remained closed in Gombe. This has resulted in long queues at the outlet of rating skeletal services. People here are complaining about spending almost their entire day queuing to buy petrol. We had been here for more than 3 hours, but unfortunately, we were asked to vacate the filling station because one customer had an altercation with the manager. Despite all this, we are still buying 1 liter at the rate of 770 naira. Right now, we don't know where to get petrol. I solely rely on petrol to operate my tricycle, which is my means of livelihood. Earlier today, I bought a quota at the rate of 1,200 naira. The government knows everything and has what it takes to address it. But here we are, as if we have no leaders. I urge fellow Nigerians to pray and seek divine intervention. According to petroleum marketers, the development is largely due to a shortage of supply, assuring that all filling stations will be open once supply is restored.
Port Harcourt, Wari, and Calabar, also at Lagos. So we have short of supply from the source. Inshallah, we are getting very soon. Inshallah, everything is going to be resolved by the grace of God. What is the reason why we people that we need chief, and then when chief come, we are appreciating, and then now it's cost, and then we people, some people that they don't have capacity to buy now. If it's cheap, so people they will buy more and more.
Most of the residents who spoke with Trust TV said they are buying a liter of petrol at 730 to 800 naira, which is higher than the approved government price. Hassan Lawan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
By the grace of God.
By the grace of God.
Yes, the problem will be resolved. You can see an official there, and even the cyclists, they are all taking the case to God.
Not to turn this into a religious show or anything, but being a Muslim, even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran that He does not change a thing about a people until they are willing to change what is within themselves. It's in Surah Al-Baqarah. So for you to come and say that's invariably means that there's some responsibility on you as a person. So you can't come and by the grace of God, the way out of a problem. You have to put in the effort. I know that as of yesterday, the NNPC gave a very shabby statement. Like if the statement was one tweet, basically that's to show you how to just piece that thing together with no detail, just to say that there is some logistical issues. Logistical issues is the vague and opaque reasons that big corporations use to circumvent responsibilities of their inactions or inadequacies in certain areas. So for them to say there were some, and they had been resolved. That's what they said in that speech given yesterday, I think around past 6 p.m. yesterday evening. And for that to not have taken effect still, and fuel is still selling at skyrocketed prices in some areas. I know I bought at 890 yesterday. Sorry, at
690. This is in Abuja. Around what time? You joined queue or what happened?
It's a very long and crazy story. Which I don't
share it with us. No, share it with us.
No, but not really the queue. Really, I had to wait a very long time for me to be able to get access to the station. And it had to be reserved because I had a credit system with the station before now, but my credit system had elapsed, but they still gave me that access. And even at that, I bought at 690, and there are places that are selling at 800 and something, or 700 and something, even within Abuja. I think in the outskirts towns, they're selling at 700 plus right now, and it's really, it's a really sad and pathetic situation.
And roadside vendors, so black marketers, is 1,000 in Abuja.
In the heart of Abuja, and you see them hawk these things with so much audacity. So I think we are really lacking behind in terms of our regulation in the country. If NNPC is saying that there's not going to be a hike, although, and this is purely speculative, let me put it out there. This is a disclaimer. This is purely speculative. Although somebody was telling me because the person sounded very confident, but I know he's in the oil market. But even at that, it's still speculative because I can't prove it. Is that he is saying that the price of gas globally is dropping, it's plummeting down.
Okay.
The price for gas is plummeting down, and it's looking like fuel will have to go with it. So they are trying to create this artificial scarcity so that some of the marketers who have bought at high price can make their money very fast within a very short period of time, and then before the price goes down, so they would have actually made some progress.
I heard of this also, honestly.
Yeah, I heard. Okay, and I'm sure we had the two different sources.
Yeah.
But then again, there's a way that rumors permeate and diffuses through the
and
system.
they may not necessarily
be true, but this is actually the conversation. But I know for a fact that gas is going down. The price for gas has actually gone down. So perhaps that is why you see that Dangote could confidently reduce the price
to less than 1,000
for gas because it's going down globally.
All right.
It's going down globally. So
we will discuss this in more detail. All right, thank you, Murkhar. Now, viewers, it is time for you to lend your voice to the conversation. Kindly call the phone number displayed on your screen, but remember to be precise and avoid foul language. The topic is interrogating Nigeria's fuel crisis amidst hike. Over to you as we await your calls. Now, Mukhtar, on May 29, just few days ahead now, it will be 1 year when President Tinubu said, okay, fuel subsidy is gone. But, in the days after, a lot of preachings, let me put it this way, that with this decision, the sector has been deregulated fully. People can import. If you have the means, you can import. This will force the prices to come down. Where did we get it wrong?
I think it's still that thing about regulation. And, I've always said that Nigeria is not short of policies. Nigeria is just short of implementing policies that they make. I mean, if I might digress a little, after the EPSRA was signed into law, the Electric Power Sector Reform Act was signed into law by the president last year, and it mandated or gave states the responsibility to create their own regulatory agency, and also they can also set up their own power generating companies. But so far, only Enugu, if I'm not mistaken, one of the states in the east, have actually gone ahead to do that, and this is over a year now, almost a year now, and most states have not even started any form of groundwork. So we see the same thing play out across almost every sector. They say how you do one thing is almost how you do everything, and that has actually been the case. I think so far it's been really, really sad and pathetic that the petrol system is still the same and it has not changed. I know for a fact that
maybe it changed for the worse.
Yeah, I don't think I still don't think we should have fuel subsidy. Perhaps for the sake of the common man, we should. But I also strongly believe that if the government could actually try as much as possible to channel most of their energy and most of the resources into tackling the issue of steady power supply. If we have steady power supply in this country, I think it's going to alleviate most of our issues significantly. Yes, moving around might still be a bit more expensive, but the money that you would have spent in generating power for your house, the money you would have spent in generating power for manufacturing, the money you would have spent in all those generators and everything else, repair the generator, buy a generator, you can channel the same money into other things, and then you have more value for your money even for commuting. So I think we need to, look at countries like Tanzania is turning off their power plants because they say they are over-generating power. For the love of God. And we are they call us the giants of Africa, and we have the largest market in the whole of Africa. So I think that there's so many issues around understanding the dynamics of our consumer behavior that the government needs to learn, especially our economic players. And then there's also a lot of significant impact that most of these policies are making that we're not taking into account as we actually go forward.
All right, thank you, Mukhtar. We have our first caller now, in the person of Eze from Benue State. Welcome to the program, and congratulations for being the first caller, Mr. Eze.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you, and how is Makodi, or is it Otukpo? And what is the price of a liter of petrol there?
It's Otukpo, my brother.
Otukpo. So how much is a liter?
Yes. A liter of petrol in Otukpo is 760, 770 per 1 day.
So how are you coping? Let's have your take.
The situation is tough, and that is appeal to Nigeria government. The citizen is suffering. At least communicate with us ahead of any situation that they want to take, so that we will bear it when we are doing it. If one will not know that where we start, at a time it will just feel like that. If nothing is too much. If you go to other countries, they communicate with the citizens. But in Nigeria, you don't communicate with us. You just wake up in the morning and then you start seeing different things. Another day, you are seeing different things. It's quite unfortunate. I have a tip for them. They should be communicating with us. Good night.
Anyway, before you go, Eze, I want to ask you this now. Can we say the removal of the fuel subsidy made any impact on your life, positive impact?
I don't see the impact.
All right. Thank you very much.
I don't see the impact.
All right. Thank you.
And they say the removal of the subsidy is scam. If it is scam, go against those that are behind the scam, and then allow citizens to enjoy a little thing from the government.
Okay. Thank you very much, Eze. All right. Eze said the removal, of course, you say you support the removal of fuel subsidy, Mukhtar. But I don't know, maybe we'll get some callers who will be on the same pedestal with you. Now it will be 1 year as I said earlier, by May 29. So many promises, CNG buses, electric vehicles. I even lost count of the promises. Do you think the government will defend some of its utterances that they reeled out at the initial stage?
I'm really interested to hear what they have to say regarding the 1 year in office. I really want to see and hear the president's speech, because it's appalling to see that since the beginning of the government we've not started and finished anything. We've not started and finished anything. So you remember that when the government started, they set up the tax committee by Taiwo, headed by Taiwo. Till today we've not seen anything from that committee. They removed the fuel subsidy and said they were going to set up a committee to ensure the speedy delivery of CNG buses. Nothing.
Even though last week Bayo Onanuga issued a statement that is it 25,000 that they are on their way. Anyway, we have another caller from Nasarawa in the person of Shamaki. Shamaki, someone called before you, being the regular first caller. So how are you, and how is Nasarawa? What is the price of petrol there?
Yeah, in fact, Nasarawa is fine. Once again, good evening, the guests in the studio.
All right, good evening, yes.
Actually, this issue of fuel scarcity is alarming already. And then I will urge the federal government should look at this, because of the fuel, everything shoot up in the country.
Yeah.
And then we had that the bulk price has dropped down, and then it is not even selling uniformly. So some filling stations are selling 7 something, but major in our area, when major brings the selling at the rate of 640 or whereabouts. So I would love the federal government to put a task force that will go around filling station by filling station, so that the price should be uniformly. I think when they do that, they will try to mitigate what is going on in the country. So this is my solution. Thank you very much.
All right, Shamaki, thank you very much for calling. Yes, Mukhtar, you can see Shamaki said the removal affected virtually everything. And I keep asking this question. I don't know when I will get tired of it, because before the removal, what we were made to believe was that fuel subsidy was only affecting or benefiting a few people. And now here we are.
Like I've always said, I don't think we should subsidize fuel. I think we should subsidize other things. I think there should be a subsidized healthcare sector. I think there should be a subsidized power sector. But I don't think we should subsidize fuel. But in the same vein, I would still say it categorically that if we can ensure that there's a steady power supply in this country and an effective intra and intercity bus network, nobody will care how much fuel costs. It is just simply because it's a whole capitalist system and people are making money for it. If you look at how much a PMS costs in countries like in the UK, for example, I think it costs about £2.6 per litre. That's over 3,000 naira if you look at in today's FX market. So to almost 4,000 naira even in today's FX market per litre. But because they have an effective intra and intercity transport network, there's a steady power supply. You know that if you're buying to drive your own car, it is just for comfort, but you don't necessarily need to have it.
So are you saying that maybe
necessity? Yeah. Commuting is a necessity in this country, but we shouldn't have to pay premium price for us to generate primary source of power. As a country, the government should make sure that there is that steady power.
And now, are you trying to say maybe the timing of the removal was wrong? The shock absorbers were not there, as you said. There should have been efficient transport system. The power sector ought to have been fixed so that people can now use alternative means of transportation, alternative means of running their industries. SMEs will find it easier and cheaper to manage their businesses. But it's like government doesn't want to listen to all of this, going by what you have mentioned like 3 times. Efficient power,
it's crazy because you know that it is not for the lack of knowledge. You listen to these government officials, some of them anyway, most of them really don't know what they're doing. But some of them anyway.
With due apologies to them.
With due apologies to them. They don't know what they're doing, but for the ones who do, they know what they're doing to the largest extent. So I'm not really a very big fan of Malam's methodology, Malam Nasir Erufai's methodology, but I also feel strongly that he's a man who likes to leave legacies. So if perhaps they had given him the Ministry of Energy like he had wanted, maybe there would have been some significant changes because Malam likes to ensure that people immortalize him. So maybe that would have worked. But the current man sounds a bit very
erratic.
Erratic is one way to put it, but not really the best way I want to put it. But for lack of better terms, and I don't mean this as an insult, but it sounds a bit ignorant. Like he does not know the dynamics of the space where he is working, and he does not understand the consumer behavior. One of the speakers earlier had said that that the government should have notified us of the scarcity ahead of time. But if you understand the Nigerian consumer behavior, you would know fully well that if the government had done that,
there would be
panic buying.
All right.
People will buy and hoard from even the institutions will not see anymore.
Serious problems.
So people will take tankers and go to the institution to full their tanker.
All right. We have another caller from Jos in the person of James. James, welcome to the program.
Good evening.
Yes. How are you? And what is the price of a liter of petrol in Jos?
The liter of petrol today, I bought it at the rate of 800 naira per liter.
800 naira.
Interesting.
Seriously.
Okay.
And
now
the most painful experience about it is that I've been online next to me to just get in corn oil filling station here because their own price is a bit low. Then they said the oil is finished in the filling station, so I have to go to another place, and there I bought it at the rate of 800 naira per liter.
Was it a filling station or roadside vendors?
No, it's a filling station.
800.
Yes.
So is this in any way maybe affecting cost of other commodities? Maybe transportation?
Yes, definitely. The fuel is like a block to a human system. So it must affect the other commodities.
So what is your view of the whole scenario?
So what can I say? I'm a Nigerian. We bless the name, we bless God because God gave us the shekels over to go through this kind of things. So I don't know what to say.
But do you have any advice for government on how to tackle this problem?
You know, the serious thing about it, even if we advise them, it follows just yes. They promise us when they want to come into power, but when they come into power, they do what they desire.
So are you now saying we should all continue to pray also?
No, we should continue to pray, but at least we need to, as Nigerians, we need to come out of this. Because what is the benefit of us producing as Nigerians that will pass fuel in Nigeria, and then we are buying fuel in this kind of price?
All right.
It's not good.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, James.
I pray that government will do something to change this kind of situation. You know, we are not finding it easy.
All right. Thank you. Yes. So it's like the problem around the oil sector. I tend to imagine that, assuming we don't even have it, will Nigeria be there? Going by the way, you know, it has remained an existential problem of sorts. Because since late 70s, this issue of fuel subsidy, it kept recurring. Now Tinubu said, okay, I have removed it. But it's like there is no any change.
Well, contrary to what the president might actually say, he didn't remove fuel subsidy. Buhari did. It was the last thing he did before he left office, because I remember that speech again, and I've referenced it severally in other conversations, media interviews, where he said, according to the budget I was given, fuel subsidy is gone.
By July, I think. End of July.
No, that was the gentleman agreement the government had with the
labor
marketers. But that was not what happened, because if you remember when he said that, from what I understand from other people I discussed with, they assumed that the backlog was they were never paid from January to that July till today. They were never paid from January to that July, from what I understand. So it is why when the president said it is gone and he's not going to come back to it, that was why immediately filling stations increased their price for petrol.
Yeah, because the way he announced it.
Yeah, beyond the way he announced it as well, like it was already gone. It was not part of the budget. The government was not planning to pay. The Buhari administration was also not planning to pay. They just kept leading on the marketers until they left office and went. So I think, but it's again, like I've said and reiterated severally, I think it's high time that the government looks inward to see how best to improve the lives and standards of living of our citizens.
All right.
A lot of people are actually really suffering.
Okay, okay, Mukhtar. We have another caller, I think still from Plateau, in the person of Shuaibu. This time around from Shandam. Shuaibu, welcome to the program.
Yeah, welcome.
Yes. How much is the price of a liter of petrol in Shandam?
This thing is very terrible. I am telling you, a price of liter of oil in Shandam, we buy it at the rate of 820.
820 naira.
820 naira per liter.
Is it in filling station or by the roadside?
Filling station.
So how are you coping?
So we have nothing to do than to forward our complaints to government and the oil marketers to have fear of God in their heart.
Okay. Then cost of living in Shandam, how is it?
It's very high, my brother, I'm telling you. It's very high. 1 measure of rice, we buy it at the rate of 1,700 naira per measure. Local rice.
Local rice?
Local rice, I'm telling you.
All right, Shuaibu.
I wanted to call, thank you. I wanted to call to the president because this situation is very, very serious. People are suffering. Mr. President have to do something.
All right. We hope they are listening to us. Thank you very much, Shuaibu.
Thank you.
Yes. You know, talking about energy crisis, I was appalled, when I saw a story. We carried it in the paper that in Tanzania, they even shot some power plants.
I said it earlier. I just said it earlier, even during the start of the show. I said it's so crazy how in Tanzania they are shutting down their power plants because they are over-generating power. And Giant of Africa, we can't even generate steady power in any way, in any capacity. It's really, really sad. And this is what the EPSRA was supposed to alleviate. And yet, only one state out of 36 states have actually found it fitting.
That's Abia, right?
I think it's either Abia.
It's Abia.
No, aside from the power plant, the new power plant, another states, they've even created their regulatory agency. And I think it's Enugu.
Okay.
It's either Enugu or
to facilitate maybe the efficient take-up of.
Yes.
But even the federal government, the minister said they are going to now segment all the discourse so that they can be state-specific. Maybe one enough for Kaduna, another one for Zamfara.
And hence the EPSRA. So the EPSRA is supposed to make it so competitive, open that a state can have a regulatory agency and anybody can generate power in the state.
Because people believe that if you have efficient electricity supply, to greater extent it will dwarf the negative impact of high cost of...
Yes, it would, because the manufacturers then would cut the cost of diesel in their manufacturing. And they will just pay no more light bill, which they've always been paying anyway. And that would also help. They will cut the cost of maintenance of generator. They will cut the cost of manpower for generator, for example. So if they can bypass the whole of that, that would also help. And if they begin to use our free trade area and all of these resources that we're giving them as a country, then our price regulators can say, we are giving you power at so amount. We are telling you to do power at this, and yet you are still charging us at this amount. No, bring it down. You don't have to make 100% profit. You can make 50%, you can make 30% profit. Because at that time, the government is contributing to the success of your business. But as it stands right now, it doesn't look like the government is contributing to the success of anybody's business.
Then how do we reconcile?
What does the government have to actually regulate anybody's business?
And that is why people are asking, because I've seen a question, that government should come out openly and say that they are still paying subsidy as claimed by IMF, because IMF said more than what was being paid during the Buhari administration, and Nigerians are paying 3 times, right? or two times?
I'm not going to be surprised if that is the case, even if it's still an allegation and speculatively so. But because
of course,
we know,
I have said it, yes.
Because we know that at the time, why he would have to pay more is because now landing cost is more expensive because of the floating of the naira. So I know as well that if we had left it to free market, by now fuel should be at least 1,000 naira.
Yes, officially. Right. Okay, we have another caller from Bauchi in the person of Lawal. Lawal, welcome to the program.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah.
So how are you in Bauchi? How are you coping with the fuel shortage?
We give God the glory because some filling stations are selling fuel 770, 780
per liter.
So we don't know what to do. Yeah.
So what is your call to government?
We are begging government to look into the situation. We don't have anything to say. Because anything that you say, you cannot solve the problem. So there are the people who carry the knife and the meat. So we beg them to reduce the price of this fuel so that we can travel, we can do some activity. But our people to eat now are problem, problems of fuel. But please, we are calling for government to help us. We are beggars now. We don't know what to do. Please.
All right. Lawan, thank you. All right. Lawan is begging government to reduce the price. Others are saying, even if you will not reduce the price, make it available. So what should government do? We did a story that, Port Harcourt refinery ought to have come on board, and it is still in the pipeline.
It's in the testing phase.
Yes. So why unfulfilled promises by government officials?
Even the Dangote refinery is supposed to have come on board.
With petrol. Of course, we have diesel there and A1, right? That is jet A1.
Jet A1 there. But even at that, it's still dwindling and still shaking. I don't know why, because the petrol market is a very, very sensitive market, I'm guessing. And like I said, everybody wants to make their profit. There's a cabal system there, I guess. And it's why it's so much of everybody tiptoes around it. Everybody's trying really hard to play safe because people are making money from that place. If you follow the money long enough, you will see the belly of the shark. You will see who is feeding everybody and everything else. So that community of people who are already there, who are making money, it's going to be very difficult to actually disband them. And that's what I think that the regulators and even the new private sector players are actually finding very difficult to actually break through at this point.
All right. We have another caller from Kogi State, your state, right? Ahmed, calling from Lokoja. Welcome to the program, Ahmed.
Good evening. Thank you.
Yes, we're happy having you. And how much is the price of a liter of petrol in Lokoja?
I bought a liter of petrol this evening, 750 per liter. 750 naira at a Renault filling station.
Okay, how is it impacting your life, the high cost?
We cannot even talk about it because the cost of living in Lokoja here is high, even before scarcity. So this has additional impact on our life. We are seriously immersed here. We are seriously suffering here. And from the local things, it seems the government doesn't know what is going on. We are suffering, and Nigerians are suffering. So it's better we call this government to attention. Please, with due respect and apology, it seems our people are lost. The government is lost. And in terms of electricity, when we talk about electricity, that minister, I'm sorry, please, with due apology, that minister is arrogant, very, very arrogant. I'm very sorry to say, but please, we need to talk to our government for them to help us and let us go back to the status quo. The subsidy has been removed. They promised us vehicles that will be conveying people around interstate and into the sea, but nothing up to now. This is 1 year. What is Tinubu doing? What is Tinubu doing? Tinubu that we know is not the Tinubu that is that is ruling now.
Okay, Ahmed.
We are not holding brief for him. We have suffered and we have suffered. Please let him do something.
All right.
Because as it is now, the government is inferior.
Okay, let's be a bit responsible in our comment, and I want to ask if you have the opportunity, yes. Hello, Ahmed. Yes, if you have your way, yes, if you have your way to see the president or the minister of petroleum, what will you advise them to do?
Is to come back to status quo. You see, for them to horribly remove subsidy without anything on ground. You know, you need to fix things before you now remove it. We are saying that Buhari did that. You know, when you are coming to power, you are the president now. Even if Buhari did it, you are the one in power. Whatever happens now is your name. So at least the palliative, let them be on ground first.
All right.
Before the subsidy is removed. At least gradually we will remove it, and the impact will be minimized. But this is too much on us. It's just too much.
All right.
The government should please review their policy.
All right.
And about the minister of power, that man should be called for.
Thank you. All right.
Talk about increase of tariff and what they are pleased.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ahmed. Yes, he said we should go back to status quo, and he gave his reason that when they claim they will remove the fuel subsidy, they said they will provide infrastructure. They will channel the money to other sectors.
How can you say what you don't have? We didn't have the money to start with. I think we just easily fall for the fancy words that politicians tell us. We can't save money that we never had. Where was the money in the first place? From what we understand, the government had to go into NNPC's purse to pay for subsidy for the past 2 years before 2023. 2023, the NNPC went up because NNPC had gone public, and they put their foot down, and the investors needed to make money because it was now a publicly traded company, and they refused to actually release the money. That's why Buhari could not President Buhari could not pay the first subsidy as of 2023. And yet, to say that we are saving money from first subsidy when we never had the money in the first place to even save. So
the money to save is not even there. So it's a deception.
It's deception.
Okay, now let's have another caller all the way from Gembu in Taraba State in the person of Babangida. Welcome to the program, Babangida. Hello?
How it works, sir?
Fine, Babangida. How is Gembu?
Yeah, Gembu is fine. It's only
do you have fuel in Gembu?
Yeah, we have fuel here. We are fighting, I think we are 2,500.
How much is a liter?
Yeah, here is 880 naira.
780.
880 naira.
Wow. 880 naira.
Yeah.
Is it even... Please, can you... yes, Babangida, can you reduce the volume of your TV set so that we can hear you? Yes, reduce the volume.
Yeah, I've done that, sir.
Okay, now 880 to a liter. How are you coping buying it in Gembu?
In a few calls here, before, when we were traveling from here to Jalingo, we paid 2,500, but now we're paying 11,000 naira. Everything is too high. Because of living here is not
all right. So what is your call to the government?
Seriously, we are just praying that the government should look into it, because if not, I think everybody is going to die around this area. Especially the people that are buy a liter 1,300, 1,200.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Babangida. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Mukhtar, even during President Buhari, you know, they said by deregulating the oil sector, you know, when they passed the PIB, right? Yes. It became PIA. Yeah, that it will. Industry. Yes, it will attract, you know, private investment and all that. Why are private investors really reluctant to?
We can't expect people to come and fix our problem. We need to see. They say put your money where your mouth is. If we have big private oil players, I think that's sort of where the likes of Dangote have really done well. is to also show people, and if he succeeds,
they say Bua is also has gone far with his own.
In Akwa Ibom, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere down south. If he succeeds, it proves that this can be done. So that would make other people trust the system as well. So I think we need to put our money where our mouth is. We need to stop looking outside and expecting that people are going to come solve our problems. Our solutions are within the country. People should actually invest in the same policies that they are selling to other people outside us to come and invest in. If we keep doing that within our own house, clean our own house by ourselves, then it's easier for other people to come in. At the end of the day, I don't think we really need them. We're a large market that is always ready to buy. If we have policies that actually encourages other businesses to actually thrive, the Nigerian market will always patronize those businesses.
Do you think vandalism, especially in the south, where miscreants, are hitting pipelines, stealing the oil, is also contributing to the reluctance of the private sector to go into the business?
Oh yes, it contributes significantly. Well, then again, you cannot deal with issues by dealing with their effects. You always have to go to the cause. If every day I have mosquito in my house, I am spraying fleet. If I don't take care of the stagnant water, the mosquitoes will keep coming back. So I think it's still an issue. There's been a long grievance by the South guys.
But grievance to what extent? You can see since the time of Adua, Amnesty has been there, Niger Delta Development Commission is there, Ministry of Petroleum. So money.
In the PIA provides for the host community development trust fund. I think, and this one is much more holistic than what we've had in the past. The host community development trust fund mandates that I think is 1% of operational costs from oil companies to go to host community, oil producing communities.
Apart from 13% derivation.
Aside from that one, so this one is but not from their profits, from their operational costs, and just 1% of the money should go to that community. And the host community development trust fund is going to be made up of people from the host communities. So it's not going to be made up of government officials or like the NDDC that is more robust and all of that. So I think if this can be handled, and it's more informal than the NDDC that has a board, that has an MD, that has all of that. The host community development trust fund is actually far much more. But if that can be implemented, I know there are different organizations that are working toward ensuring that this can be achieved. Oxfam is funding a couple of organizations like Connected Development. Even Accountability Lab is doing some work in that region as well to ensure that this can actually be attained in those areas. So I think strongly that if more organizations can join organizations like Connected Development and Accountability Lab that are doing this work to achieve the host community development trust fund, there might be some significant progress in those areas.
So finally, in 30 seconds, what is the way forward now? Fuel queues are there. You can see people in Gembu from all parts of the country calling that
I still think we cannot keep using palliative solutions for long-term problems. I think we have to take the bull by the horn. I don't know what the president is doing at the back end to ensure that these things can be alleviated. I'm going to assume that he has a plan. But in that plan, I'm hoping that one of the most significant things that needs to be done is to ensure that there is steady power in the country. I don't think that we should have forced subsidy. I think we should have subsidies in other sectors of the economy.
All right, Murkhar.
Definitely not fair.
All right, thank you very much for your informed perspective and for answering some of the issues raised by our callers. We have to have you some other time.
No problem.
Yes, because we've been interfacing with Murkhar Suleiman, an analyst who helped in answering some of the silent issues raised by our callers, Eze, Shamaki, James, Shuaibu, Lawal, Ahmed, Babangida, and many others who tried to call but could not sell through. Try your luck next week as we will come again with an interesting topic for discussion. We hope you found today's conversation engaging and informative, and be sure to join Daily Politics airing every weekday and our special package on Friday, during which we open the telephone line for you to comment on national issues as we did today. For now, bye-bye from here. I'm Hamza Idris.